Some people tell me there's no point in reviewing a game that's both 14 years old and no one really cared about. But to be honest, it's these games that keep us coming back to the PS2. It's these games that we can afford to lose out on as opposed to the newest £40 blunder of the century. It's these games that are more fun to find buried throughout the vast oceans of shovelware the PS2 already has. It's games like Eternal Ring. Eternal Ring. Who said fantasies had to be final? Hilarious jokes aside though, I think I should probably get my history of first-person RPGs out the way first. Oblivion. That's pretty much it. And that was alright, I guess. But it's not as if I'm going in expecting that tier quality. I mean, it was a launch title for the PS2 by From Software, the company that made Armored Core and Dark Souls. Okay, fuck that, this game is going to be awesome, there's no excuse now. But I'm sure they have a really good one for the downright hilarious story. It can pretty much be simplified to, evil man wants powerful ring to destroy the world. I don't know what the writers got paid for it, but whatever it was way too much. But if you love that, you're gonna love the name of the island. Just think of the most boring, generic name for a scary, monster-ridden island possible, then think of one more boring and unoriginal than that. Do you know what they called it? Do you know what they sat around a table and actually agreed the name should be? It's the Island of No Return. Yeah, really. So, without further delaying your disappointment, let me do that thing where I pretend I'm putting the game in for the first time. And the game begins, with this super exciting atmospheric intro sequence showing Kane being dropped off at the island by this fisherman. And if I was lying to you even more, I'd probably comment on this music, and how it totally isn't annoying or repetitive, and then I'd go on to say how it doesn't get in the way of this intense, gripping dialogue between these two characters. I say characters, but for something to classify as a character, it probably has to have more emotion than plywood. But wait, hang on a second, if I could just draw your attention to the back of the case again. Yep, see that? No one has ever returned from this island alive. Yeah, I would have taken that as my cue to tell this guy to fuck off when he asked for a lift. And on top of all that, I don't think anyone told him that his line's over, and that he should stop talking. Because both of these characters' mouths are in a state of constantly opening and closing, it's hilarious.
I gotta be going now. Thanks for the lift.
And something's telling me this isn't the last we're going to be seeing of that. Oh yeah, wow, didn't see that coming at all. Looks like he won't be returning from the Island of No Return. Then bam, you're thrown into the game, and bam is exactly what it feels like, just like someone smacked you across the face and suddenly you're colorblind. I mean seriously, some games start you in an area and give you a nice establishing shot to show how deep and breathtaking it is to give you some incentive to explore it. But this game's like, nah, fuck it, see that? That's the colour black, why don't you go walk in that for a while? But unless you want to be gang raped by sea turtles, I suggest not going back outside and just continuing on. And the second thing to hit you is how terrible the controls are, and the fact that they're the only thing stopping this game from being even barely playable. For some strange reason, you control the character using the D-pad, which is fine, but for some strange reason it doesn't take advantage of the pressure-sensitive buttons on the DualShock 2 controller. So you have two options, walking slow as fuck and not at all. And because you can't gently hold the button to walk forward, you have to press it down really hard, which makes your thumb fucking kill after about 5 minutes of slow, pointless walking. Which is a bit of a piss take considering the emphasis on exploration in this game. But don't worry, you can use the analog sticks to look up and down and move if you use a DualShock 2 controller. Which I am using. Or wait, the analog sticks won't be used. Well, I think you're contradicting yourself a bit there. I'm not fucking around, the game is straight up lying to you here. It's one thing to try and implement a feature that doesn't work, which is normally the only problem games tend to have. But it's a completely different story when the feature isn't even there. But maybe I'm just being a cynical dick. And maybe I should actually play the game before coming to a conclusion that because this game fucked everything up so far, it's almost certainly going to continue to all the way through. Although I can tell you now, I hate this game already. But maybe I shouldn't. I mean, all this bullshit here looks kind of in-depth, and it could still redeem itself. Maybe? So, after a slightly exaggerated 2 hours of mindless wandering around and about 5 tubes of deep heat later, the cave suddenly just ends. Literally, just like that. There's no light or exit sign or anything to tell me that this is the way to go, it just finishes. So yeah, brilliant I guess. But what is this? This is pleasant. Doesn't really look like the terrifying barren island of no return the game made it out to be now, does it? But hey, houses. Time to do that classic RPG trait of barging your way into everyone's homes looking for sweet loot. Apart from this one. Because this guy's asleep. Yeah, this just got creepy. Then there's this guy. This fucking guy. This sentinel here not only makes it blatantly clear that he doesn't want you here, but then takes your sword in exchange for some paper. He tells you that you can trade it for a new one in a warehouse with some guy called Wallace, but I'm starting to think he pulled a fast one on me. I've looked everywhere and there's no warehouse. And by everywhere I mean in that barn and in that water wheel house over there. So brilliant! Now I don't have a sword and I just have to run my fucking ass off through the first temple getting ass raped by everything I dare make eye contact with. Which is what I did. Until I found out that this guy is in fact Wallace and this is a warehouse. And I am in fact a fucking idiot. But wait, let me explain the many reasons why this takes the piss. I mean, this fucking guy could, you know, not be useless and give me some directions. Or better yet, get rid of whatever the fuck this useless thing is and replace it with a map. And while you're at it, put some NPCs in this shithole. I mean, I'm not joking here. There's one person outside and he's too busy being tired. Alright then. And don't even get me started on the fact the game let me in there without a weapon in the first place. But Jesus, just give me my weapon so I can actually get somewhere in this game. This time I'm making sure I select the letter in my inventory first. Just like a point and click adventure game. What is this, the Dark Ages? Wait, what the hell is this? Please tell me this is for opening the crate to my real sword. Why have you stopped talking? You know you're in for some fun when a game that was barely fun to begin with now gives you a weapon that's even slower and does less damage than the one that already sucked. But hey, I'm hearing a lot of this water temple. Sorry, water shrine. And what I've seen of it already, it could be what the game needs to crank this dull two-dimensional atmosphere into an immersive 3D dungeon crawler. What this game needs more than anything right now is more frequent saves. Sometimes you can go forever without a save point. And if you die, that's it. Straight back to the previous save. Which should be fine, but because of the maze-like layout of this place and how easy it is to die, I find myself having to leave a mental trail of breadcrumbs, so I can quickly run back and save whenever I progress. Sort of like using save states if they were bullshit. But I'm not stressing enough that I started to lose my mind in this place. Everything looks the same and the scenery and enemies never vary. I'm not making this up. When I was getting footage for this video, I left my mic on and you could hear the sanity in my voice slowly deteriorate. Oh yeah, wow, I haven't seen this enemy before. But just when all hope was lost, I opened a door to a long dark cave. Then all hope was lost. But not entirely. For a game called Eternal Ring, up until now there's been a strange absence of rings. If that was your concern, well don't worry, because here it is. The thing the entire game revolves around. The thing the fucking game was named after. The thing that could single-handedly save this game by giving the combat an element of strategy and coordination. Or not, you know. But at least we can actually progress now, by melting the ice on this door. Puzzles! And like all good... And like all RPG dungeons, there happens to be a boss at the end for some unexplained and pointless although somehow expected reason. And just like the rest of the dungeon, the fight is dull and uneventful. And then all of a sudden, Water Dragon, for some reason. Okay. The way this game works in its simplest stripped down form is that it has you play through different themed dungeons while they just sort of sandwich the plot in between them. But to keep it interesting, the dungeons are not only themed after elements but other things, like whatever that is. But this sucks, as when you're playing through one, you completely forget what the whole game is about. And it doesn't help that the plot is so boring and generic in itself. And speaking of the plot, or as I like to call it, oh, time to check Gmail. I do feel bad for not wanting to pay attention, but it's just never there enough to keep me hooked. And to be honest, the intro kinda dragged on a bit and I lost interest there. But who cares about that, because everyone's dead now. And oh, hey look, it's the guy who didn't have enough energy to talk to me. Looks like he's got enough energy to fight. So, yeah, fuck you. And oh look, my sword. Yeah, Looks like you won't be needing this anymore, so I'll just take this off your hands. Looks like everything worked out after all. And then suddenly werewolf. For some reason. If by this point it feels like I'm just going along pointing things out, it's because that's literally what I'm doing. I have no idea what's going on. The game is just constantly shoving things in my face, hoping that I'll like one of them, then quickly forgetting about them and never mentioning them again. Something I've learned to appreciate in games lately is the feeling that I mean something in the game. The feeling that, right, I've done that, now I've just got to do this, then I can get that. Sort of like you're riding the story as opposed to being dragged along by it. But it works for some games like platformers and certain first-person shooters, but with RPGs, maybe it's just me, but to go for the full role-playing experience, I have to experience an actual role in the game. And for that reason, I'm sure you'll forgive me for running straight through all this bullshit to tell you about the thing the game revolves around. Cue comedic record scratch. Let me just get one thing out the way quickly. I love this. But what is it? Well, throughout the game I've been collecting these stones that until now have been completely useless, and it got to the point where I had so many of them I just didn't pick them up anymore. But somewhere along the road I found a ring with no gem in it, and I just sort of sighed and carried on. But now I'm here and there's a thing telling me to create a ring from the gems. I have no idea how this works. What I've managed to work out is that the gems on the left determine what element it is, but I'm sorry, I'm not joking around here. It's really clear where all the effort went in this game. Look at all these different ring combinations, and all of them are unique and have really awesome designs. I just don't get it. I could literally spend hours in this room. But as soon as I leave, I just sort of take a look at something and just go, oh, fucking hell. So to wrap this video up, what is Eternal Ring and what can you expect from it? Stunning giant dragon action sequences?
Are you here in search of eternity?
Definitely. A first-person view that requires precise combat skills? Yep. Terrifying monsters that inhabit the island? Yeah. And enhanced graphics that create dramatic scenes? Hello everybody and thanks for watching. If you've made it this far, congratulations, you deserve a fucking medal. Just a quick update, you know that whole 2-month gap I had between this video and the last one? Yeah, sorry about that. I promise I'll do everything I can to make sure that doesn't happen again. Or, you know, I will, depending on whether you like this video or not. And if you want to see some of my other ones, you can just click here and it will take you straight to them. And if you are wondering who this devilishly handsome man was, you can check out his channel right here. And thanks for watching.